Boston Bruins have signed a goalie, and the speculation has already begun on what that all means. The Florida Panthers have beaten the Toronto Maple Leafs and have gotten out of the second round of the playoffs, but the Marchand trade is almost complete. Don Sweeney has been extended after Cam Neely said this upcoming season would decide his fate. So buckle up, Bruins fans. I'm here to give you the latest info on your beloved Boston Bruins. If you've been liking my Bruins content, please leave me a like and subscribe. If you've already done so, thank you, and let's get into it. Boston Bruins general manager Don Sweeney announced yesterday, May 19th, that the team has signed goaltender Simon Zajicek to a one-year entry-level contract with an NHL cap hit of $872,500. Zajicek, 23, appeared in 29 games with HC Litvinovo of Czech. Honestly, at this point, I should just, Hooked on Phonics works for me. During the 24-25 season, compiling overall record of 15-13-0 with a 2.12 goals against average and a .930 save percentage. The 6'2", 187-pound goaltender ranked first across the league in save percentage and tied for second in shutouts with 5. In 3 playoff games in 2024-25, Zajicek recorded a 2.63 goals against average and a .927 save percentage. The Czechia native has played in 90 career games with HC Litvinovo, posting an overall record of 36-48-0 with a 2.68 goals against average and a .912 save percentage. I'd be lying to you if I said I knew anything about this kid, because I truly don't. I've already started looking into him, and I think it's hilarious that everybody is already thinking, well, this means Swayman is being traded, which is a head scratcher to me. There is no place where a 23-year-old inexperienced goaltender is replacing Jeremy Swayman. If the Bruins do trade Swayman this offseason, it will be a hockey trade where they get another goaltender back. I don't even want to go down this road right now because I don't believe it's going to happen yet. Zajicek will now provide the Bruins with another goalie prospect in their system to work with. Given how well he performed this season, it makes sense the Bruins are taking a shot on the 6'2" netminder. Goalies with size is the new meta in the NHL, and signing him can't hurt the team in any way. It's a one-year deal, under $1 million, and only hits the cap if he plays in the NHL. The Bruins are taking a shot on hopefully finding a diamond in the rough, and I'm sure they've done some extensive scouting on him, or at least I hope so. He's going to be another option for them in Providence to work with next season. This is not a bad thing in the slightest, especially since Providence goalies Michael DiPietro and Brandon Bussi are both unrestricted free agents and could leave this summer. DiPietro had a solid season in Providence, going with a 2.05 goals against average in 40 games with a .927 save percentage. I would think that DiPietro is a priority to sign over Bussi, who looked to take a step back last season, who had a 2.77 goals against average and a .907 save percentage, and ended up being the backup by the end of the season. It's interesting because Bussi, many thought, was going to possibly even fight for the backup in Boston last season, and he ends up being the backup in Providence. The Bruins might look to move Korpisalo if they think that DiPietro is ready to be an NHL backup, but my hope is, given the issues with goaltending last season, they find a suitable backup, or at least a goalie that can create some competition in Boston again. Korpisalo was not good at all, and neither was Swayman, and I'm not saying Swayman was better, but one has a huge deal that's hard to move and one doesn't. We'll see what happens, but I can't wait to see what Zajicek will bring in Providence next season. Let me know what you think is going to happen with the goalie situation in Boston. The next thing I want to discuss is that the Brad Marchand trade is almost done, and everybody continues to have questions surrounding the conditions on the deal. In true Brad Marchand fashion, he was a Leaf killer for the Florida Panthers and arguably one of their best players in the series that saw the defending Stanley Cup champs beat the Toronto Maple Leafs in 7 games. Marchand had 8 points in the series, with 3 of those being goals. He assisted on some pretty good goals and scored some big goals, including an overtime winner. He is 100% worth a first-round pick, and it looks like the Bruins will get that pick after Game 1 of the conference final. Many of us thought that the Bruins would get the first-round pick as long as the Panthers made it a second round and Marchand plays 50% of those games, but that isn't accurate. Marchand needs to play in 50% of their total playoff games throughout the playoffs. Round 1 was 6 games, and round 2 was 7 games, and most of the teams can play, and a total of the playoffs is 28 games. That means Marchand needs to play in 14 games for the Florida Panthers in the playoff. The first condition of the trade was met when the Panthers embarrassed the Leafs on home ice, but once the first game is played, for the second condition will be met, and the Bruins most likely will get a 2027 first-round pick from the Florida Panthers. I said likely because there is another condition on the trade. If the Panthers' 2027 first-round pick ends up being a top 10 pick, it's protected, and the Bruins would then get the Panthers' first-round pick in 2028. Either way, unless there's a catastrophic event happens, the Bruins will be getting a first-round pick for Brad Marchand. After Marchand's performance in the playoffs so far, the rumor mill is already started swirling with regards to where Marchand will play next season. Leaf fans are already saying Marchand should be their prime target, but with him still playing right now, this is all wishful thinking. There is no way Brad Marchand is even thinking about where he's playing next season, and I give zero validity to any rumor. Right now, I'm going to continue to enjoy Marchand having a great playoff with the outside hope he comes back next season, because it's a possibility. Marchand is a UFA at the end of the season and can choose where he wants to play. If the Panthers go to the Stanley Cup Finals, he won't have a lot of time to decide either. If I'm a betting man, my guess would be the front runners for his services, in no particular order, are Florida, Tampa, Boston, and Vegas. You let me know what you think of Marchand's performance so far in the playoffs. The last thing I want to talk about is Don Sweeney has been extended by the Boston Bruins after Cam Neely said that probably won't happen this summer. Boston Bruins Cam Neely announced today, May 20th, that the organization has signed general manager Don Sweeney to a 2-year contract extension through 2027-28 season. Cam Neely says, Don has navigated a disappointing period for our club with conviction, purpose, and clear vision towards the future of the Boston Bruins. Yeah, he did not write that. Someone wrote it for him. He made difficult decisions around the trade deadline with the confidence that they will pay dividends as we craft a path back to contention. He was continued to follow that track with a robust and thorough search for our club's next head coach, while also preparing for the upcoming NHL draft and free agent signing period. I am confident in the plan he has followed these past few months and excited for what's to come for our team. The expectations in Boston have always been clear, and it's about winning championships. It continues to say, I am very appreciative to Charlie, the entire Jacob family, and Cam for their continued trust and support, said Bruins general manager Don Sweeney. It's an honor to be part of this franchise with such a storied history and passionate fan base. I fully understand and embrace the responsibilities that come with the role. Our fans have high expectations for this team, and so do I. The collective goal is to build a team that makes the Bruins fan proud, ultimately brings another Stanley Cup back to Boston. Sweeney has spent 10 seasons as the Bruins general manager after being named to the position ahead of the 2015-2016 season. In 782 games under Sweeney, the Bruins have accumulated a record of .458, .233, and .91 regular season record and earned postseason berths in 8 out of 10 seasons. Boston's 1,007 points and a .644 point percentage are tied for the best in the National Hockey League since he got his job. He was the recipient of the NHL General Manager of the Year award following the 2018-19 season, during which the team advanced to the Stanley Cup Final and got burned by a stupid trip that should have been called. On the international stage, Sweeney served as a general manager for Team Canada at the Four Nations Face-Off in 2025. Team Canada won the tournament following a 3-2 overtime win in the championship game against Team USA in Boston. He also will be the GM for the Canadian Olympic team next year. I know many are not going to agree with me, but I see no issue with this extension, as my real issue with the Bruins is President Cam Neely and how he handles things. I think Cam is more to blame on the lack of farm system and success over the years, but that's a whole nother video. I will say I'm shocked the extension happened because of what Cam said at the end of the season's press conference. Cam stated he would judge an extension on the upcoming season, which at the time I found to be weird, and I still do. I'm kind of wondering if Cam thought many teams would go after Don if they fired him, and why would you fire a GM during a retool? You kind of look like a tool yourself if you did that. The farm system issue with the Bruins is a fair criticism, but it's a sum of its parts. They don't get a lot of first-round picks, and the scouts have a huge influence on who the team drafts, but ultimately, it falls on the GM to make those picks. Sweeney has earned a lot of respect for me because how he handled the trade deadline, as I thought he did a great job with his trades, and frankly, he usually does a good job with trades. The Boston Bruins do most choices by committee, but most of their trades are started and finished by Don Sweeney. The drafting and free agent signings, well, that's a different story and is really discussed by committee, and decisions are made by committee. It's only a 2-year extension, meaning Sweeney has told management he can fix this in 2 years. So we'll see what happens. Going into the draft and next season with a lame duck GM was not the right answer. It was rumored that one of the reasons Rick Tocchet didn't come to Boston was the uncertainty at the GM position, and I'm sure other coaches felt the exact same way. Heck, what free agent wants to come and sign with the Bruins knowing that the GM that's signing them is probably not going to be there? Now that he's been extended, we'll see what happens in the next 2 years, and we'll see what it brings us. Ultimately, I think that it's either sink or swim for both him and Cam Neely, and I've been saying this over and over again, but it seems the two are tied together. So if we're going to get rid of one, we're going to get rid of the other. We'll see what happens. I want to hear from you, though. What do you think of the extension? That's a wrap on today's video. To stay up to date on all the news surrounding the Boston Bruins, please subscribe and drop me a like. If news breaks surrounding the Boston Bruins, be sure to check out the channel. If you've already subscribed to the channel, thank you, and I'll see you next time.